On the Don Hare Business Connect show this week, we speak to Nick from Stellar Project, who talks about the importance of project management.
Basically, we'll sit down with them, figure out if there is either subdivision capacity or an alternative development.
We also have Dave Dingwell from Fundmaster with more advice on securing the best mortgage.
There's a lot of people who are waiting and thinking about many factors, being elections, being banks, being interest rates.
And John Luff from the Cancer Society with news from their Junk-Free June campaign.
The science is very clear. Your risk of a cancer diagnosis goes up if you've got a very poor diet and lack of exercise and these sorts of things.
All this and some great projects on the Don Hare Business Connect show. And join me now is Nick Mattison, Director of Stellar Group. Nick, welcome on the show.
Thank you, Don.
No, it's been a great journey what you guys done for us and for our clients, but most of our audience doesn't know what Stellar Group actually do. So can you explain what you actually do for development and project-wise?
Stellar Projects is a multidisciplinary company. We focus on planning, project management and quantity surveying. We try to be a one-stop delivery of resource consents, subdivision consents and turnkey products. So we'll do anything which basically requires council paperwork through to completion and delivery of a project.
So some of the projects you do, say from a bare piece of land to 20 or 100 section development, you do that?
Yep, so we do anything from a simple two-lot subdivision for some of our mum and dad clients who've had bare land for a while, or just their family home which they want to subdivide and don't understand the process, right through to big commercial developers in terms of apartment developments, large format subdivisions. So we cater from very small projects right up to large commercial projects.
So if you can take me through the step, because this to me is a hidden secret about developing, because most people, some people have piece of land, maybe they own their family for 10, 20, 30, 40 years, and the only way they get money out is probably they ring us, we come and sell their land for them. But really they want to make more money, they want to develop them, but they don't know how. So can you take us from step one to finish, what the process is involved in?
Sure, so we'll get contacted by clients just trying to find out whether they can develop their property, or if there is a development possibility because they might have sought some real estate advice. And then basically we'll sit down with them, figure out if there is either subdivision capacity or an alternative development. We'll give them advice, tell them to seek legal, accounting and real estate advice to figure out if that's going to be suitable for them. And then we'll sit down and pretty much design the project with them and take them right through with the surveyor, the engineer, ourselves, discussions with Auckland Council, right through until we get the paperwork which enables them to develop if they wanted to.
So once the resource consent's granted, then do you do the tendering for the earthwork, you know, lighting, roading and all that sort of stuff as well?
Yep, so we'll, once the planning department's finished their component, then we'll hand it over to the project management team and they will run the process until you end up with new titles which can obviously be on-sold.
So during that earthwork, say 3 to 6 months, you monitor all of that?
Everything's monitored, so we will be the representative of the client and that will be critical as well with the QS, so that there'll be bank payments associated with the development and we'll control it all, so there'll be a management process.
So what's the client's responsibility during that period and your responsibility?
The responsibility mainly is with ourselves. Obviously we will tender the process, everything's approved by the client, but we'll put recommendations to them to say this is either the best price or the quickest time frame which will enable you to move on as quickly as possible.
So the client's job is to pay the bill?
Pretty much, that's it, yeah.
Right.
Yeah, they come to us because a lot of them have never done this before.
Yes.
So we act on their behalf to deliver it as quickly as possible and as cheaply, hopefully.
And have you seen some mistakes some individual client do where they go and find one surveyor, they go and find another engineer and they group 6 different together and things gone wrong? Have you seen such a thing?
Sometimes there's issues in for people trying to make savings here and there. If we can obviously encapsulate it all in one process and provide complete management, then obviously it's a lot more efficient and easier. We find with the clients that we've dealt with multiple times that they're more willing to enable us to do it on their behalf.
Yep.
Sometimes it's the first time people who don't fully understand the process, so that's on us to try and communicate the best thing for them.
So you basically become the sort of that one-stop shop?
That's exactly what we hope to be.
Okay. And some of the projects that you do right now, can you mention some of the projects from a medium size or small size to even the larger size that is like iconic, recognizable in Auckland?
Yep, there's a couple which are actually coming out of the ground now at the moment. There's Union Green apartment development in the CBD.
Okay, I sold quite a bit there.
I know you did, Don. Yeah. So we consented that. We're also doing another probably 5 to 6 apartment developments, which range between 60 to 120 units. Larger format subdivisions, anything up to sort of 400 lots. We've been dealing with. The market's sort of changing slightly, and that's in part with the unitary plan enabling greater development, and the sort of mids or lower format developments, which are sort of the 4 to 5 lot subdivisions, which used to be only a 2 lot subdivision, is now moving to that 4 to 5 units, more integrated design, architectural components. So.
And your office, where is your office?
We're based in Takapuna and the CBD in Shortland Street.
Okay, and how many staff in your whole office?
We've got 35 and we'll hopefully be 40 within the next 6 months.
That's a big size company.
Yeah, a lot of clients to look after.
So the client now seems to be, can't handle the stress, come to the easy guy, take over, you guys deal with it, you're the expert, they come to me, I sell it, and that's just how it is.
It's the way it goes, it's beautiful.
Right, so where do you see the market going right now with the LVR changing, the 40% deposit rule? Do you see a lot of developers now holding back, or they still getting consented, or you see less project now on the horizon?
There's still a backlog of work in terms of just people being able to get what they'd planned over the last couple of years. So we're finalising a lot of those projects. The market is shifting. We're finding that the seasoned developers are actually coming back into the market a bit more now.
Okay.
They're able to do equations and figure out what the cost ratios will be and have a more certain price point, where obviously in the heated market there's just people paying well above the odds. So a lot of the experienced operators are coming back in. And there's still mum and dads who basically just want to subdivide, move on, downscale.
Right.
So there's still those projects coming through.
Right. Well, we've been having some great success and experience with Stuart from your firm.
Mm-hmm.
He's been amazing. You know, he comes out, he meets us once a week, meet our client, give us updates on pre-app meetings, council Section 92 requirements, the reply. And I find that it's a stressful situation to be in, but having Stuart to take care of that has taken a lot of our stress away, our client stress away.
Mm.
So I guess going forward in the future, the first port of call is they ring you, or they go to your website. You've got a website?
Yes, indeed.
And what's the website?
www.stellaprojects.co.nz.
Well, look, we've got many clients is going to be in that sort of area. Perhaps one day we'll do a special VIP event, and we would love for you and your staff to come on the event and speak about it. And I think your business will be even soaring even more.
That's very good.
Thank
Look
you for
forward to
coming on the show.
relationship. Thank you, Don. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Cheers.
And the project of the week we have, this is a best kept secret. It is the Manukau City Centre. The Ramada Hotel is coming to Manukau, believe it or not. It will be built right on Great South Road, where in front of the Vodafone Stadium there, and the white water rafting is right behind it. This property is a 9-level building, 1 level ground floor, and then 8-level apartments. 3.5 level will be the Ramada Hotel units, and it will make up a 1-bedroom and studio units in there. Guaranteed return around 5.8% gross return. Price from $214,000 for a studio. Majority of this hotel guaranteed lease is sold out now. We only got 1 or 2 left, depends which one you want. But on top of that, we have 67 residential apartments. The 1-bedroom, 50 square metre is from $414,000, and then 2-bedroom, around 70 square metre is $623,000. And then we also got the Jewel Key, which is the most popular one. The Jewel Key is a studio next door and a 1-bedroom joint together, 2 separate doors. You can rent them separately. Home and income on the sky, we call it. Price for that is from $680,000. And they are selling really fast. You buy one of these, it'll be 10% deposit down. Construction will be in the next 15 months, so you're not expecting to get your unit to it until end of 2018 or a few months later after that. Manukau right now is a changing city. It has now got 2 high rises. The Lakewood Plaza building that we sold out, that was a 16-level building. This one here, just further down the road, price is around 8,500 to 9,300 a square meter. Now that is really, really good buying. You go to the Auckland Central CBD now, you're paying 14,000 to even 20,000 a square meter for an apartment. Depends which one and which development you look at. But Manukau City, population growth will be faster than the Auckland City itself and the CBD. Therefore, demands for accommodation, demands for living in, and demand for jobs is very high. But most of all, right in the heart of Manukau City, you won't see another better location in this project. It's right also next door to the Pacific Gardens, where the Chinese developer is looking at building 2,000 apartments and houses there right next to it. So this is the one that's first coming to market. So if I were you, be in first, look us up and give us a call, visit our website, then we'll look to select the best apartment available for you. And joining me now is Dave Dingra from Fundmaster. Dave, welcome back.
How are you? Thank you for getting me back.
So last time we on the show, now you got this new look. What's with the new look?
I went to Queenstown with you last week. So I got inspired by the wind there and the cold weather.
Yeah.
Keep beard so it protects my face from any draft of wind coming on my face.
I understand some actor from Bollywood has come over here recently, and were you inspired by that person to say this is the look that I want to achieve?
No, not as yet. It's probably 3 years down the lane when I do my own movie, then I'll think about it.
Okay, so how's the finance market going out there since we last talked?
Finance market is a bit jittery at this stage because banks, as I discussed last time as well, the banks are putting a lot of tightening and a lot of scrutiny in all the deals, which is fair for the market as well, because the market has been, blown out of proportion as what all the property pundits say, but it has been as well because as we discussed, the banks do play a biggest role, a biggest part in controlling any market. So they are putting a lot of scrutiny in terms of getting the right deal and quality business, which is important for maintaining the market for a long term.
So you're dealing with a lot of first-time buy right now because of the current LVR rule change that investors are pulling back, more home buyers are buying. Are you dealing a lot more of those people right now?
At this stage, 36% of the market which I've been writing business in, 36% is first-time buyers.
Right.
Refinance is around about 9.1, and all the investments and everything has gone down. In my own book, has gone down to 3%.
Wow.
It was till last year I was doing 60% investment loans.
Right.
Now it's quite lesser because, as you're aware of the market, that there's a lot of people who are waiting and thinking about many factors, being elections, being banks, being interest rates. Interest rates are still relatively the lowest. If you go back to even recession days, interest rate was not sub 5 and then.
Right.
These days you can still get a 3-year rate which is 4.69.
So you know that you're dealing with home buyers now. How do you overcome with a lot of the home buyer credit issues? Because if they haven't bought a home before, they might have some bad defaults and they can't get finance. How many percent of that would you have?
There are many options, Don. Percentage-wise, I've been blessed that I get only good customers.
Oh, great.
I don't have credit issue customers, but if we have one or two of them, there are 3 protocols which I follow for them. One, I meet them and I get them to fill out a budget calculator, which I have created. So I do budgeting analysis with them. I see how much are they spending, how much are they saving. So I just nanny set them to understand their every dollar which is coming in and going out, right? Then we give them the second part, then we ask them how soon do they want to buy a house. If there is 0 deposit and people are on very good incomes, they can still buy a house because there are organizations or financial institutions which are smaller players which do second mortgage and first mortgage.
What was your experience going to Queenstown with us the other day?
Queenstown was amazing. It is obviously the world's most beautiful place, and we are lucky to be a part of New Zealand.
Yep.
So when I always go there and you feel the fresh air and you see the development, you see the lake, and you see the clouds above the lake.
Yes.
And below the mountains, that is something which you can only see in Queenstown. It's amazing. And the development which I saw,
Yeah.
I missed out on Ramada last year.
Okay.
Right, but the one which we saw next to Remarkable is the Wyndham Garden.
Yes.
It's, I think, one of the best investments people could make in the coming years in Queenstown.
Well, we had 20 people book the flight down, right? And 5 missed the flight, including Lisa. our producer here. So we were expecting to lose 30% of the sale because 70% of the buyer hasn't seen Queenstown before. But when we got there, we increased our sale by 30%. So as a result, I'm not kidding, the whole building is sold out, and now we've got people on a waiting list to buy because they just think it's the best place there is.
It is definitely. And you know, when you see remarkable mountains, not now when it's peak winters, and you see snow-capped mountains, I think it'll be the best view you could have from your apartment anyways.
Well, look, we wish you all the success and looking forward to have you back again. Thank you for
so
coming
much,
on the
Don.
show.
Thank you.
Winter is approaching. This year's report, apparently 52% more listing compared to the same time last year. So all of a sudden, there's a lot of property coming on the market. At the same time, we are saying that we got a lot of shortage housing in Auckland, but I don't understand the two part. Okay, one is government, politician, media report that we're short of housing in Auckland. On the other hand, we got 52% listing more coming on the market. So who's right? It's actually not shortage of housing in Auckland, it's actually shortage of finance. Because if the finance was easy, say all of a sudden right now, if the Reserve Bank says, I can finance you 100% to buy a house, we don't have a problem with shortage of housing because we just can't get finance to buy a house. And I think there's a lot of myth there that say we're short of housing, we're short of 10,000 homes a year. Well, right now we've got 52% more homes coming on the market. Who's buying them? Nobody's buying them right now because there's more listing on the market. But all of a sudden, if the banks say that I can give you 95% lending, 100% lending, credit criteria is okay, well, everybody is buying a house. We will develop the house a lot faster than that. So I believe that the finance sector is actually control the housing market. If we go back to 2008, where the GFC year is, interest rate was 12%, we were selling 116 houses a month, we ended up selling 12 houses a month. All of a sudden, that completely changed. Right now, the Reserve Bank is controlling the market, 40% deposit for investors. No investors are buying. All of a sudden, 52% more house come on the market. Just give me some more money, then you change your house sector. Bank, government, we need to look at this closely. And joining me now is John Love, CEO of Auckland Cancer Society in Auckland. John, welcome on the show. Nice to see you.
Yeah, good to be here.
Tell me, cancer is a subject that is very touchy to a lot of families. So what do you actually do for your role at the Cancer Society?
Well, Don, as we're sitting here, the sad news is 60 New Zealanders will get diagnosed with cancer today.
Wow.
Yeah, 60. And we know that because 60 were diagnosed yesterday, and sadly there'll be 60 diagnosed with cancer tomorrow. It's about 21,000 New Zealanders diagnosed every year. So it's obviously a major health issue for New Zealand, and probably there's no one watching today that hasn't been touched by cancer at some stage in their lives, either themselves or through a family member or someone at work or what have you.
That's really shocking numbers. Is it going to get worse or better?
Good question. Sadly, the number is increasing. The number's increasing because our population is growing. And also our population is ageing. And cancer is, to some extent, a disease of the elderly. The average age of a cancer diagnosis in New Zealand is about 65.
Okay.
So as the population grows and ages over time, we're going to see more cancer. Now, the good news is treatments are getting more successful all the time. And statistically, your odds of being treated successfully for cancer are close to 60% at the moment.
Okay.
That's across all cancers. And that's predicted to rise to about 70% in the next 10 years.
How does a family react? You know, like all of a sudden today we've got 60 people with cancer. Tomorrow we get another 60. How is that news received by the patient?
Well, I mean, obviously it's devastating. You know, those three words, "you have cancer," are probably the toughest words anyone can expect to hear.
Is it the first thing you think of is you're going to die?
I believe so. Yeah, I think we often hear that from patients. You know, that the doctor says, "I'm terribly sorry, your test results are back, you've got cancer." And often patients tell us they don't even hear what the doctor says after that. So the doctor might be talking about a course of treatment, surgery, whatever it might be, and patients are in a state of shock. And that's really where an organisation like the Cancer Society comes in. You know, our firm belief is that no one should walk that cancer journey alone. And You know, we can't walk that journey for the patient, but we can certainly walk that journey alongside the patient.
Right.
And of the three things that we do, what we call supportive care is one of the key things that the Cancer Society does. So that's a range of services and support and information for those patients right across the country. So I'll talk briefly about them. I mean, we have an accommodation service.
Which in your market there, I had
That's right. You've visited us there. So that's a place called Domain Lodge.
Yeah.
And the Cancer Society has another 5 of these lodges across the country in Hamilton, Palmerston North, Wellington, Christchurch and Dunedin. And those are places where people from rural New Zealand can stay when they have to come to the big city to get specialised treatment at one of New Zealand's 6 regional cancer centres.
Is there a cost to stay?
No, it's free of charge for the patient.
Wow.
And that's something that philosophically we're really committed to.
Yeah.
You can imagine what it's like for someone in small town New Zealand, maybe from a farm or somewhere like that. They have to come to the city for treatment for a number of weeks often, sometimes even longer. And for a lot of people, the thought of staying in a motel, paying
Yes.
you know, the cost there, is prohibitive and would be a real barrier to treatment. And that's where the Cancer Society steps up. We've got these lodges and people stay with us and they stay free of charge. And also while they're there, they can access the other services that we have, the counselling support, the information booklets, the support groups, all of these sorts of things.
And it's run by government bodies or funding, charity?
You've heard of Daffodil Day, obviously,
Yes.
and you yourself have been a great supporter of the Society at a number of fundraising events. That's what we rely on, donations from the public.
100%.
Yeah, that's what keeps us going.
That's incredible.
Well, the health system is under a lot of stress and a lot of strain, and the government is putting in a lot of money to healthcare, but you know, quite frankly, there's never enough. And so organisations like the Cancer Society have to you know, serve the community, have to talk to the community about what's needed, and have to fill those gaps and meet those needs.
And how many volunteers do you have?
Oh goodness! Well, we've for a start across the country we've got over 200 wonderful staff
Right.
across a range of disciplines, nurses, counsellors, all of these sorts of things, and standing alongside them are literally thousands of volunteers, Don, who step up sometimes on a weekly basis, sometimes just once a year, and whatever contribution we're hugely grateful for. You know, the person who's out there on the street on Daffodil Day collecting, they're a volunteer for the Cancer Society. We've got volunteers who do driving services for us, all sorts of things. They're really so important for what we do.
And what's the junk-free June? What is that about?
Junk-free June. So another important thing the Cancer Society does is, you know, we're not just there to support people who have a cancer diagnosis. We want to bring those numbers down in the future. And I'm sure many people watching today would be familiar with our SunSmart campaigns and the sorts of things. You know, we're a very strong voice in terms of tobacco control and reducing the numbers of people who smoke. Well, Junk-Free June is a campaign that we're running this month, encouraging people to eat healthier diet, to set aside the junk food. Because again, the science is very clear. Your risk of a cancer diagnosis goes up if you've got a very poor diet and lack of exercise and these sorts of things. You know, New Zealand has high rates of bowel cancer. And one of the factors that causes that, obviously, is a very poor diet. And us Kiwis, sadly, don't have a great diet. A lot of us are, you know, a few kilos overweight. And, you know, Junk-Free June's a campaign, a month-long campaign to sort of say to people, hey, let's put the junk food aside. Let's really focus about what we eat. Let's change to a healthier diet and reduce our risk of getting cancer.
And how does a family with, say, a cancer patient, how do they get into the Domain Lodge, or if they need to go to the Domain Lodge, what's the process there?
Look, they can approach us in a number of different ways. Obviously, a lot of people these days go straight to the website, cancersociety.org.nz, and that's where they'll find our website, and all of the services and the programs that we have to offer are there.
And you've got space there, or does it get fully booked sometimes?
Look, it gets busy, but you know, we always do our best to you know, find room for the patients. You know, they're referred to us often by specialists or GPs or whatever in the health system. They'll make sure that those patients know that Domain Lodge accommodation services or any of the Cancer Society's accommodation services in those other centres.
And what's the period of stay normally?
People stay, look, sometimes people stay with us just one night.
Okay.
You know, they might just have to come for a particular appointment.
Yeah.
But the other end of the spectrum, we have patients who have to stay with us. They're on bone marrow treatments and a long stay treatment, and they'll stay with us 3, 4, 5 months.
And what's the different level of cancer? Like, say you got cancer, but it might not be a severe cancer. It might just be a little cancer.
Well, it sort of takes me back to what sometimes people say is there going to be a cure for cancer? The first thing we have to say is cancer is not a single disease. Cancer is 100 different diseases that are very different causes, very different treatments, very different chemistries and physiologies of those diseases. I talked about survival rates a little bit earlier. The survival rates for things like testicular cancer are well above 90%. Sadly, the survival rates for other types of cancer like pancreatic cancer is very low. Right. And lung cancer, of course, is something we all know about, and that's a very deadly form of cancer. So, there's no such thing as a sort of should we say, a trivial cancer. They're all very, it's a very serious disease. But if caught early, a lot of these cancers can be very successfully treated.
Well, that's good to know.
Yeah.
And up and coming in October, we have this Afealoai big, massive event that Chetan Patel, our greatest hero, is putting on, and he's looking at raising some more fund for Hospice, Cancer Society.
Yeah, he's a great supporter, and that's a wonderful event. It was the first event was last year, and you're a fantastic supporter of it. There was I think over 600 people attended. It was a fantastic atmosphere and a hugely successful night.
Well, I think this event coming up will be even
bigger and better.
It seems to be an annual thing now for Chetan, isn't it?
And I think, quite frankly, it's associated with Diwali, the Festival of Light.
Yes.
And that's a really nice symbolism, I think, in terms of the Cancer Society, because it's about new beginnings. It's about light coming out of darkness. And that's a little bit like the symbol of the Cancer Society. People will know that our symbol is the daffodil. And that's the lovely bright flower that comes out at the end of winter, the dark winter. And I think the symbolism is fantastic. It's a symbol of hope. And if it's one thing the Cancer Society is very much about, it's about hope. It's about hope for the future, hope for better treatment, hope for families and hope for patients.
Well, look, this event coming up, we hope to raise double the amount of money that we raised last year, and we're looking forward to donate some of that to all charity that's involved this time.
That's brilliant.
And,
I'm looking forward to it.
Thank you for coming on the show.
Oh, great to be here, Don. Thank you.
Thanks, John. Millions tips for the week. You must prepare to travel for education. I went to the ERIC event in the Gold Coast with my team, and there were around 4,500 people there at the event. All around the world, speakers come along, and we heard a very interesting story about negotiations and also how people make 3 million to 5 million to 100 million. You've got to prepare to get out of your comfort zone, travel to get these seminars, and you only take 3 tips back. 3 tips back. What are the 3 tips you learned from these events? And you can make more money on that basis. Well, the best tip I got so far out of the event was that customer care. That customer care is the key here. This current market, a lot of us don't have customer cares anymore. We just do things too fast. One particular agent, he spent $22,000 annually inviting 30 of his key clients to a Christmas event, and out of that, he makes $500,000 out of those 30 key people. But how often do we actually care even to take someone out for coffee, for dinner, for lunch? You give, then you will get. But if you don't give, you're never going to get. So learn to give more, and receiving will always come. Thank you for joining us on the Don Hare Business Connect show. We will see you again next week with some great guests and projects. Until then, make sure your business is working for you, and don't be afraid to take action.